So these theories will make you question everything. So remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Now this video is this small archaeological site in Antarctica could rewrite human history. And if you're skeptical like I am, you might want to check this out. Let's check it out.
Recovered satellite data reveals lost continent. As of January 2024, data from the satellite tracking website Orbiting Now indicates 8,377 active satellites in various Earth orbits. Each of these satellites serves a different purpose. They provide information about our planet, from clouds and oceans to land and air. Satellites in orbit also provide in-flight phone communications on planes, and without them, voice communication in rural areas would be difficult. However, this satellite revealed something different. Data from a gravity mapping satellite revealed something incredible that astounded researchers. In 2018, after examining a satellite that had been out of business for 5 years, experts stumbled upon data that changed the geological and geographical history of the icy continent. The discovery of the ancient continent was made using a gravity mapping satellite, specifically the Gravity Field and Ocean Circulation Explorer, GOCE, from the European Space Agency. Beginning in 2009, the GOCE satellite meticulously mapped Earth's gravity field for 4 years until it was deliberately destroyed. Who would have thought that it held gravity images that changed the way we see Antarctica? New data solidified information that we already knew. You see, India, Australia, and Antarctica came from the same landmass known as Gondwana, a subsection of the supercontinent Pangaea. Over 180 million years ago, Gondwana split into these 3 landmasses. Today, remnants of an ancient continent lie beneath Antarctica, one we've never had the opportunity to study. Now, who knows what information this astounding landmass could reveal? Before we
may reveal itself sooner if the planet continues to warm and that ice continues to melt. That's all I'm saying.
Number 19. A wallet lost 53 years ago. Imagine losing your wallet while walking in the city. There's a significant possibility that someone found it, and it's up to them whether to reach out or keep the cash and credit cards for themselves. Now, here's an unlikely situation, but imagine losing your wallet in Antarctica. It may sound impossible, but a man unfortunately faced this unlucky predicament over 5 decades ago. This is Paul Grisham. In 2021, the 91-year-old was delighted to be contacted by workers who claimed they had found his wallet on the White Continent. But how exactly did it end up there? You see, over a half a century ago, Paul was stationed in Antarctica for Operation Deep Freeze. He worked there from 1967 to 1968. This operation involved providing logistical support to civilian scientists on the continent. Paul's wallet was discovered behind a locker during the demolition of a building on Ross Island in 2014. This wallet contained items that encapsulated his life and times in the Navy, including his Navy ID card, driving license, and beer ration punch card, and receipts for money orders sent to his wife, among others.
All we thinking about is whether or not it had money in it. You know what I mean? It probably did, but when it got back to him, it probably didn't.
Other things. Finding Paul, however, wasn't as easy as it sounds. The wallet's return was made possible by a group of amateur detectives who embarked on a weeks-long quest, exchanging emails, letters, and Facebook messages to track down Paul. This search effort was led by Bruce McKee, an Air Force veteran who runs a nonprofit honoring retired service members. Bruce claims that he deeply respects those who have served and understood the sentimental value of such an item. Upon receiving the message, Paul was positively delighted. He claimed that he didn't even remember losing the wallet in the first place. He also shared the time when he worked on the icy continent. He described his time in Antarctica as relentless cold, with winter days typically reaching minus 65 degrees. His experiences ranged from the practical challenges of living in such an extreme climate. During his time there, Paul witnessed the station's population shrink from around 1,100 workers in the summer to a mere 100 in the winter, leading to a life of canned food and long nights of chess to pass the time. The return of the wallet, in perfect condition despite its age and journey, is indeed an amazing and life-changing experience, not only for Paul, but for those who are touched by his story. Number 18. 5,000-year-old penguin graveyard. Whales, seals, albatrosses, seabirds, and penguins. These pretty much sum up the residents of the South Pole. These creatures are among the few that manage to endure the extreme conditions this continent has to offer. This recent revelation, however, shed light on one of the longest-standing residents of the area. In 2020, scientists were baffled when they stumbled upon a 5,000-year-old graveyard of Adelie penguins in the Ross Sea region of Antarctica, a place known to this day to be a thriving hub for nearly 1 million breeding pairs of Adelie penguins annually. The presence of both mummified and seemingly fresh remains of penguin chicks, alongside older fossils, revealed that the area has been a breeding ground for penguins for over several millennia.
Yeah, but I would figure if you have that many penguins, it wouldn't be uncommon to come across a penguin graveyard. You're just talking about millions of them. You know what I mean? Lots of them.
Radiocarbon dating indicates that the penguins occupied this site during 3 distinct periods, with the earliest dating back about 5,000 years. The most recent occupation ended roughly 800 years ago, likely coinciding with the onset of the Little Ice Age, which could have increased snow levels and made the area less hospitable for the penguins. In time, this breeding ground may once again be filled with Adelie penguins, continuing this region's legacy from 5,000 years ago. Number 17. Mystery of the Blood Falls finally solved. The mystery of the Blood Falls is among the most intriguing secrets of the cold Antarctic. As its name suggests, this body of water is a stark crimson, contrasting the white ice surrounding it. This curious body of water can be found in the McMurdo dry valleys. For so long, scientists have been wondering just what exactly it is. There have been many hypotheses over the years, and it seems like recently, its secret has finally been unlocked. Its origins date back millions of years to when the Antarctic region underwent significant geological and climatic changes. Around 5 million years ago, the eastern areas of Antarctica experienced flooding, forming lakes and pools on the surface. As the climate cooled, glaciers began to form over these water bodies, trapping them beneath layers of ice. The trapped water, now cut off from the atmosphere and devoid of oxygen, became increasingly rich in iron due to the glaciers grinding the bedrock below. This process also left the water extremely salty, creating a brine with a salt content 3 times that of seawater. This high salt concentration lowers the freezing point of the brine, allowing it to remain liquid even in the frigid Antarctic temperatures. The crimson water results from oxidation of the iron in the brine when it comes into contact with the air. Think of it.
I know we have this scientific answer and reasoning for this now. All of a sudden, we have the answers. But this is still going to always be like a blood fall to me. Anytime I look at it, anytime I see it, it just makes me think of something tragic happened here. And when it did, the blood mixed with the snow, and this is what you got as it pooled and spilled over down this little hill. That's what my mind is always associated with it, even though we know now it's salt.
As a process similar to rusting, finally, after years of being studied, the secret behind this red color is ended. However, scientists assert that there's still much to learn about the blood falls. Number 16. 66-million-year-old fossil. Scientists are creative and logical, but even the most brilliant among them in the field of science get stumped sometimes. Take, for example, this instance when researchers discovered a remarkable 66-million-year-old fossilized reptile egg. Well, at least now we know what it is. You see, this egg was so perplexing that researchers had no idea what to make of it when they first found it. And so, they nicknamed it the Thing. This egg measures about 11 inches long and 7 inches wide, and for nearly a decade, it sat unlabeled in Chile's National Museum of Natural History for years. It wasn't until recently that researchers, after a close examination, realized that it was an egg. This giant egg, second in size only to the extinct elephant bird's egg from Madagascar, is believed to have been laid by a mosasaur, a prehistoric sea lizard. The discovery of baby and adult mosasaur and plesiosaur skeletons nearby suggests the area might have been a nursery site. The egg's large size and thin shell hint at unique reproductive adaptations linked to the mosasaur's gigantism. Scientists are—
Come on, let's do it. Let's extract the DNA. Let's see if we can bring it back. Come on. I'm on board now. Forget it. Let's do it.
Still trying to determine whether the ancient reptile hatched on land or underwater, as modern sea snakes and sea turtles do. It's quite astounding what a single egg can reveal. Number 15.
Bet.
The mystifying secrets of Antarctica's Lake Vostok. Nestled deep beneath the icy surface of Antarctica lies a mysterious world untouched by sunlight for millions of years. This is Lake Vostok. This massive subglacial lake is roughly the size of North America's Lake Ontario, and it still has a lot of secrets. Scientists believe that this place holds
You can clearly see where the lake is outlined. I wonder how thick the ice is, though, between that and if it is any type of water up under there. I wonder how thick that ice is.
Secrets about the Earth's past. This lake was discovered by Russian geographer Andrei Kapitsa, who first suspected the existence of a giant liquid lake hiding under the East Antarctic ice sheet. This suspicion, stemming from seismic data analysis in the 1950s, was confirmed decades later in 1996 through radio echo surveying and satellite measurements. More than 2 miles of ice separate Lake Vostok from the surface, making it among the most remote lakes on Earth. Again, scientists estimate that this lake has been in existence for millions of years already, about 15 million. This place is devoid of sunlight, but with life existing in caverns and even in the hottest bodies of water on Earth, there may be life in Lake Vostok's waters. Until we learn more about it, we've no choice but to speculate. Number 14. The Colossal Squid Expedition. The Colossal Squid. This creature is said to be among the largest in the ocean, growing more than 46 feet long. The earliest known specimens of this species were found in the stomach of a sperm whale around 1925. It wasn't until March of 2003 that a complete specimen of female colossal squid was found in the Ross Sea, with a total length of 18 feet. So far, the largest specimen we've discovered and confirmed measures 33 feet. This creature, initially considered a cryptid or a creature that only exists in legends, is now the target of an expedition in Antarctica. This expedition to find the colossal squid is spearheaded by the ocean exploration and conservation nonprofit Colossal, with the aim of unraveling the mysteries of this giant of the ocean. The team is equipped with state-of-the-art subsea cameras and lighting systems developed by Subsea Imaging. They seek answers to fundamental questions about the colossal squid, its size, preferred habitat, breeding behavior, and the function of its massive eye. Could it be used for offense, defense, or is it attracted to light displays? How does the squid utilize bioluminescence? The expedition is timed to coincide with the 100th anniversary of the colossal squid's first discovery in 1925, when remains were found in the stomach of a sperm whale. Since then, only a handful of these creatures have been observed alive or caught in fishing nets.
Look at that. Look at how big that thing is, bro. And once they figure out where and how and where this thing could possibly live or its habitat is, that's going to lead them to the Kraken. Mark my words.
You see, we've discovered several specimens of this massive animal before, but we have yet to study it properly. Observing these creatures is challenging since their habitat extends as deep as 6,600 feet beneath the ocean's surface. Scientists continue to hope that the elusive colossal squid will finally show itself. Number 13. A huge icefish colony. In the chilly, mysterious depths of Antarctica's Weddell Sea, scientists stumbled upon the largest colony of fish nests ever seen while doing a routine seafloor analysis in Antarctica. This nest sprawled across 240 square kilometers, or about 92 square miles. The nests of these creatures are well crafted, about 15 centimeters deep and 75 centimeters in diameter, with a central area of small stones standing out against the muddy seabed. Each nest cradles 1,500 to 2,500 eggs, often guarded by an adult icefish. Of course, researchers were quite delighted. The team, after 4 hours of initial disbelief, spent the next 4 days documenting over 60 million active nests. The size of this colony is almost unfathomable, nearly as large as Orlando, Florida. The presence of this massive colony might have significant implications for the local food web. Researchers suggest that these fish are a crucial food source for Weddell seals, with 90% of the seals' diving activities occurring within this region. Since these creatures are among the few with antifreeze in their bloodstream, they're among the most hardy creatures in this region of the ocean.
And seeing that makes me think, okay, y'all, we'll never run out of food as long as we don't continue to pollute the water. Like, we're polluting the water at alarming rates right now. But if we could stop that Look at how many eggs they're laying. Not saying this particular fish, but you know, the ones that we do eat, if they lay eggs even close to this, we'll be good. We'll be good. We'll have a source of food, man. We just got to chill on the pollution.
Number 12. New deepest point on Earth. 24,400 feet below sea level. That's the new record for the greatest terrestrial depth we've reached, with a depth equivalent to about 17 Empire State Buildings stacked from bottom to top. The Factorian Deep is the deepest point in our planet's ocean. This point, located in Antarctica's frigid Southern Ocean, was discovered in 2019 by American explorer and entrepreneur Victor Vescovo. Despite that fact, it wasn't until recently that this part of the ocean was mapped. The sprawling map revealed undersea mountains, canyons, and plateaus beneath the Southern Ocean that had never been seen before. This mapping wouldn't be possible without the International Bathymetric Chart of the Southern Ocean, which began charting the Southern Ocean in 2013, and the Nippon Foundation Gebco Seabed 2030 project. Together, these organizations aim to map the entire global seafloor by 2030. It's a huge undertaking, but the information we'll be able to gather will help us understand more about the planet we live on. Just the mapping of the Antarctic Ocean itself required a lot of effort. You see, this new map of the Factorian Deep alone needed over 1,200 sonar datasets. Today, IBXO is encouraging all ships passing through the Southern Ocean to turn on their sonar to help gather data for the project. Number 11. Shipwreck of Shackleton's Endurance. In 1914, Sir Ernest Shackleton set his sights on what he believed to be the last great Antarctic challenge, a transcontinental journey from sea to sea, crossing the pole. This was to be the Imperial Transantarctic Expedition. In 1914, Shackleton's dreams began to materialize. He raised a substantial sum of money, enough to purchase and outfit 2 ships, the Endurance for the Weddell Sea Party and the Aurora for the Ross Sea Party. The Endurance, initially named Polaris, was a sturdy 300-ton barkentine, ideally suited for the harsh conditions they would face. The plan was ambitious. Shackleton and his team aimed to make a groundbreaking 1,800-mile journey across Antarctica. The Endurance would carry the team to Vassal Bay, from where Shackleton and a select group would begin their continental crossing, while the Aurora, operating from the opposite side of the continent, would lay supply depots for the latter part of Shackleton's trek. However, the expedition faced challenges from the outset. Just as the world was bracing for the outbreak of World War I, the Endurance set sail towards the Antarctic. The ship became trapped in pack ice in the Weddell Sea. For months, Shackleton and his crew were stranded on the ice. They faced extreme cold, dwindling supplies, and the constant threat of ice crushing their ship. In April 1915, the situation reached a critical point when the ice floe they were camped on split, forcing them to take to the lifeboats. It wasn't an easy feat to survive the challenge the Antarctic gave them. The men had to endure freezing conditions, hunger, and exhaustion. After an arduous journey, they landed on Elephant Island. Their first contact with solid ground in over a year. Do you think that was it? Not quite. Knowing that rescue was unlikely, Shackleton made a bold decision. With 5 companions, he embarked on an 800-mile journey to South Georgia in one of the lifeboats, the James Caird. They reached the island after a harrowing 16 days at sea, but their journey was not yet complete. They had landed on the uninhabited side of South Georgia. Shackleton, along with 2 others, then undertook a treacherous 36-hour trek over uncharted mountains and glaciers to reach a whaling station. His arrival at the station, disheveled and weather-beaten, was nothing short of miraculous. The station manager, upon seeing these ragged men, was astounded to learn their leader was none other than Shackleton himself. Rescuing the remaining crew members on Elephant Island was another formidable challenge. Shackleton's persistence paid off when on August 30, 1916, after several failed attempts, the Chilean ship Yelcho, commandeered by Shackleton, reached Elephant Island and brought the crew to safety. And yes, despite enduring some of the most extreme conditions imaginable, every member of the Endurance crew survived. This extraordinary expedition remains one of the greatest survival stories in the annals of exploration.
Nice.
It's no wonder that the wreck of Endurance remains one of the most significant discoveries in Antarctica. The wreck was discovered in 2022 in the icy depths of the Weddell Sea. The Endurance 22 expedition, led by John Shears, embarked on a mission to locate the historic vessel. The team aboard the SA Agulhas II, a South African icebreaker and polar research vessel, braved the treacherous Antarctic conditions. Funded by an anonymous benefactor, the $10 million project utilized cutting-edge technology and deployed 2 submersibles to scan the sea floor. The discovery, made over 9,840 feet below the surface, revealed the wreck in stunning condition. Images captured by the submersibles.
That's what I was just saying, looking at it, I was like, yo, it's still in like pristine condition, almost. Like, just seeing it, you would have thought it would have deteriorated by much, but it was well preserved under there.
Showed the ship upright and well preserved, with the bold letters of her name still visible above the stern. The wreck's preservation is attributed to the cold Antarctic waters, which have protected it for over a century. Number 10. 1 million-year-old DNA. Researchers recently discovered ancient DNA in deep-sea sediments in the icy waters of the Scotia Sea just north of Antarctica. This DNA turned out to be a staggering 1 million years old, the oldest authenticated marine sedimentary DNA, or simply cetDNA, on record. But what exactly is cetDNA? Well, think of it as a relatively new technique, like a molecular time machine. It allows scientists to peek into the past and see who was living in the ocean and when. This technique is crucial because it can reveal information about marine organisms that don't leave fossils behind, like krill, a vital food source for Antarctic wildlife like penguins, seals, and whales. For this discovery, an international team, including scientists from the University of Tasmania and the University of Bonn, dug deep into the ocean's past. They used sediments gathered in 2019 during the IODP Expedition 382. And yes, they had to be super careful about contamination to ensure the DNA they found was genuinely ancient. There's much to learn about this set of DNA, with researchers still studying it to this day. Number 9. Thriving phytoplankton. It seems that creatures are thriving secretly in Antarctica. Creatures so small that they've been able to live without scientists noticing their existence until recently. Not only that, but these creatures were once thought to be unable to survive in the conditions of the Antarctic. You see, about a decade ago, scientists believed that the thick ice cover in the Antarctic waters prevented phytoplankton growth for most of the year due to limited sunlight penetration. However, recent discoveries proved otherwise. Underwater instruments and NASA's ISAT-2 satellite revealed that Antarctic sea ice is not the impenetrable fortress we once thought it was. It's full of fractures and openings, allowing enough sunlight to slip through for phytoplankton to flourish. These microscopic plant-like organisms, akin to the grasses of the ocean, perform photosynthesis, absorbing sunlight and nutrients to create energy. Who knows what other life is thriving in these cold waters? Number 8. Wood-eating fungi. In the frosty, treeless terrain of Antarctica, a surprising discovery was made. Wood-eating fungi feasting on historical relics from the era of polar exploration. These fungi were found degrading the wooden huts built by legendary explorers like Ernest Shackleton and Robert Scott over a century ago. Now you see, wood-eating fungi, of course, need wood to survive. And yet, these organisms thrived solely on the wood left behind by researchers. After all, the icy continent of Antarctica has been devoid of trees for millions of years. No one would have thought that wood-decaying fungi would be native to the region, but nature always surprises us. Number 7.
I don't know about that. I just don't. That seems more like a conspiracy to me. Don't that seem like that to y'all? That's what it feels. That feels like that to me. That's just way too random.
Meteorites of the Antarctic. Did you know that more meteorites have been found in Antarctica than on all other continents combined? Yes, you heard that right. But it's not because of a mysterious force attracting meteorites to this icy continent. You see, meteorites can fall anywhere on Earth. These space-age rocks, remnants from the formation of our solar system, actually fall evenly across the Earth. But due to certain unique conditions, they're more likely to be found and preserved in Antarctica. Therefore, there's a higher chance of stumbling upon meteorites. There's also the fact that Antarctica is mainly devoid of terrestrial rocks, making these extraterrestrial visitors stand out. One exciting expedition in December 2022 managed to unearth one of the heaviest meteorites ever found in Antarctica. Using satellite imagery to guide them, researchers located a meteorite weighing 16.8 pounds. But you see, weight isn't the most important factor to a meteorite. It's the information it reveals about the universe. Who knows? Perhaps one of the many space rocks in the South Pole holds a groundbreaking secret that will challenge our understanding of space. Number 6.
Not only that, that's the way I believe that they're coming to our planet. Aliens, different species, new species that we come in contact with. That's the way I think they travel and come here undetected, unnoticed, all of that.
Possible UFO buried in Antarctic snow. Recently, the internet and conspiracy theorists have been intrigued by this bizarre feature on Google Maps. At these coordinates, you can see what looks like a crashed UFO. This feature, measuring about 65 feet wide and 230 feet long, appeared as a distinct indentation in the snow, with no other tracks around it, fueling speculation about its extraterrestrial origins. The discovery was made by Russian UFO enthusiast Valentin Diktarev, who proclaimed it to be a classically shaped UFO. Well, I just told you guys that there's an abundance of meteorites in Antarctica. What if aliens find this continent to be the perfect hiding spot for their spaceships as well? Now, it's important to note that this is all just speculation, and there's no solid proof about this continent. According to them, what might appear as a spacecraft is in fact a crevasse, a common crack in the ice that forms due to the differential movement of ice. Crevasses can be spectacularly large, contributing to the mysterious allure of such formations. Number 5. Antarctic Pyramid.
Yeah.
In addition to UFOs, there's also news about a pyramid hidden in Antarctica.
Yep.
Pyramids that resemble that of the ones in Egypt. Now called the Antarctic Pyramid, this curious structure found in the Ellsworth Mountains caught the attention of conspiracy theorists who suggested it might be evidence of ancient civilizations, or even extraterrestrial activity. However, there's also a chance that this structure is a natural feature. The so-called pyramid is in reality a naturally formed mountain. After all, the Ellsworth Mountains, where this pyramid-like peak is located, are the highest mountain range in Antarctica and stretch over 400 kilometers. Geologists explain that the peak's pyramidal shape is simply a coincidence, a result of natural...
Something that we don't believe in. Do you? I don't. You? Not at all. We don't believe in coincidences these days.
...geological processes. But of course, many continue to be fascinated by the fact that this pyramid signifies an ancient settlement in the area. Number 4. Hidden World. Beneath the icy surface of Antarctica lies a hidden world, but it's not what you're thinking. The Ross Ice Shelf, a gigantic floating body of ice in the southern edge of Antarctica, conceals this fascinating subterranean habitat. Researchers, delving into the icy depths, drilled down an impressive 1,640 feet using a hot water hose to melt through the ice. Their efforts were rewarded when a camera lowered into the newly created cavern revealed a swarm of amphipods, small shrimp-like creatures bustling around in the depths. This discovery contradicts the usual perception of Antarctica as the coldest, driest, and iciest place on Earth. The presence of such a lively ecosystem deep beneath the ice is a testament to the resilience and adaptability of life. The researchers were astounded to find life forms in such an extreme and remote environment, describing their reaction as akin to jumping up and down for joy. This discovery allows us to understand the Antarctic environment. Now, this definitely makes me wonder what other astounding and bizarre creatures have evolved without humans noticing. Number 3. Antarctica's Mysterious Mountains. Discovered in 1958, the Gambrinus Mountains are among the most mysterious geological features on Earth. These mountains, believe it or not, are as grand as the European Alps. Yet, they've remained unseen, tucked away under up to a staggering 9,842 feet of ice. These mountains took about 1 billion years to form, a result of continental drift pushing two plates together, creating the supercontinent of Rodinia. However, time eroded this early range, leaving only a deep, cold root visible in seismic images today. Now, between 250 and 100 million years ago, when dinosaurs still ruled our planet, the Earth's crust moved again, resulting in the partition of the East Antarctic Rift System. This gave rise to the Gambrinus Mountains once more. Glaciers and rivers then carved deep valleys, lifting the peaks into a breathtaking landscape comparable to the Alps. And then, about 34 million years ago, the East Antarctic ice sheet formed, covering an area as large as Canada. This massive ice sheet has protected the mountains ever since. And so, to this day, there's much to learn about these hidden features. Number 2. 50-million-year-old worm in a cocoon. Did you know that one of the oldest worms found on our planet was discovered in Antarctica? Well, it's not exactly a live worm, but a fossilized cocoon of a worm that lived a staggering 50 million years ago. However, there's a surprise in the ancient casing, the world's oldest known animal sperm. While examining rock samples from Antarctica, researchers accidentally stumbled upon the fossil while searching for small animal remains. While sifting through the samples, they identified fossilized worm cocoons. A more detailed inspection using an electron microscope unveiled the existence of numerous trapped sperm cells within the cocoons. What's fascinating is that these worms, being all soft tissue, are rarely found in the fossil record. However, they have robust cocoon-like egg cases that can withstand the test of time and fossilization.
This is why I keep saying, man, the more that ice continues to melt, we don't know what we're about to be hit with. We don't know what type of things are gonna blossom from the ice melting, what type of species, diseases, different things. We don't know what we're in for, bro. This next chapter could be crazy.
Comparing the physical attributes of the fossilized sperm with those of contemporary worms, the research team determined that they belong to annelids, the group of animals that includes earthworms and leeches. Specifically, the fossil sperm closely resembled the sperm of present-day crayfish worms, small leech-like creatures residing on crayfish shells and feeding on decaying organic matter. Remarkably, modern crayfish worms are solely documented in the northern hemisphere. If the identification is accurate, it suggests that this animal group had a much broader geographic distribution 50 million years ago than it does today. This discovery beat the previous record for the oldest known animal sperm by a whopping 10 million years, expanding our knowledge in paleontology. And now, it's time for today's topic. This small archaeological site in Antarctica could rewrite human history. You see, there are no natives on this continent. Well, there's the fact that a country tried to send a pregnant woman to Antarctica in 1977, hoping that the first newborn on the continent would give them rights to the territory, but that's a story for another day. Aside from researchers and the occasional tourists, there are no natives on this continent. As such, it's believed that no ancient civilizations thrived on this continent. But with recent discoveries, tunnels, pyramids, entire mountain ranges quietly hiding beneath the ice, conspiracy theorists claim that there's an archaeological site in Antarctica, yet to be explored by man, that hides an ancient settlement that an unknown civilization built thousands of years ago.
See, this makes me think, or this is what I think, minus the ice and everything like that, this is what I think Mars looks like. This is what I think we have yet to find or discover on Mars. Something like this.
However, we're yet to find solid proof of this settlement, or perhaps it has deliberately been hidden. I'll let you be the judge. Number 1. Tunnels as tall as the Eiffel Tower. This last discovery proves that there's much hidden beneath the ice of Antarctica. Who would have thought that in this icy continent are tunnels, with some being so deep that they're nearly as tall as the Eiffel Tower? These tunnels, discovered under the Filchner-Ronne ice shelf in West Antarctica, measures an impressive 820 feet in height. Researchers from UK universities and the British Antarctic Survey flew over the continent's ice shelf and found these impressive caverns. They found that these enormous channels were formed by meltwater flowing underneath the ice, over land, and into the ocean. This challenges the belief that meltwater spreads under ice sheets in thin, continuous layers. Instead, water appears to move in focused channels, similar to rivers beneath the ice. But what other secrets do they hold? Well, we're yet to know.